Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode of Buckshot Thursday here on the Ohio Patriot Education Network YouTube channel. I am, as always, your host, Aaron the Ohio Patriot, and this obviously is a Saturday night special for Buckshot Thursday, so we get a chance to do it the other day, where we're going to do a tactical backpack review from good old Amazon, obviously. Tactical backpack, looks like that right there. I'm going to go into more detail of what it actually is here in a second. But before I do that, I do want to talk about some other stuff. Not sure if somebody's been fucking around my house this week, trying to possibly steal a catalytic converter off my car, which would be the second time that happens in the past 2 years now. But went out today to get the mail and was looking down at the middle of the driveway there and noticed something out of place, and I'm like, what the hell is that? And I pick up this motherfucker right here, and it turns out it was a Juul e-cig that was randomly sitting in my fucking driveway. So, and it obviously does work because, you can hit the thing and the fucking light goes on there. So, yeah, I don't know if somebody's been fucking around my house in the last couple of days, because I heard some shit the other day, and I was trying to go outside and, figure it out, but there's not enough light out there is what the problem is, though. So, I'm not sure if maybe that's what happened. I was a situation where somebody was trying to fuck with the car or steal kind of convert off the car, whatever it was there, and I was able to confront them kind of halfway, and they saw me, lights flip on and me come out basically, and freak the fuck out and ran for it or something like that, and potentially drop the shit on the way out back into the darkness is what it was there or whatever. Or a less suspicious thing, which is what happened last night, was when I got pizza. It could have been the actual delivery driver guy putting taking the cash out of his pocket or put in the car or whatever, and then inadvertently dropping his e-cig and not even realizing it, which I haven't called the pizza place to talk to them yet about that, because I'm like, I really don't want to do that, honestly, because if it's not his, it's like, then it's even more suspicious then, because it's like, why do you have some random fucking, person that ordered from here calling up the place and being like, yeah, did your driver drop their e-cig last night at my place or something? Are they looking for it kind of thing? And the thing is, too, I was thinking about it more, too. The reason I don't want to do that, obviously, is because when I went out yesterday to get the mail, I'm pretty sure I saw something sitting there then. I just didn't think about grabbing it as what it was. And I think that's exactly what it was this fucking random Juul thing that was sitting there yesterday. So if that is the case and it was sitting there yesterday afternoon, that was way before I got pizza. And yeah, it means it was somebody else that was here at the house, or whatever the case be, without my knowledge and my permission for that matter. And like I said, could be people fucking around again 2 years later. So anyway, but yeah, I'm going to do the specs of the actual bag that we're talking about today. This is something I got off Amazon. This is an early Christmas gift, which is this particular bag costs $18 right now. It is called the G4 Free Outdoor Tactical Bag Backpack Military Sport Bag Pack Sling Shoulder Backpack Tactical Satchel for Everyday Carry. That's a whole mouthful, I'll tell you what, man. But yeah, it comes in a bunch of different ones. You can get it obviously in the basic black, which I got here. You can get it in that camo coloration. You can get a different camo coloration. You can get it in the blue coloration, which is actually pretty cool looking. Get it in that purple coloration, which, you don't want. I would say don't get that version, especially if you're talking about grid down and stuff. You don't have something that actually blends in. Get another different camo, sort of a greenish, camo-ish coloration. A teal coloration. This is obviously also not ideal for, doing that stuff. And then different camo, and then finally a deserty camo. And it's funny because when they, obviously the dimensions for it is that right there. And then, they're showing tablets and stuff that can fit in there, and then an actual tablet in there with a wallet, and then a phone in the front and stuff like that, and other things is what it is. But that is obviously not what's in mine, because what is in mine, and by the way, and this is exactly what I said earlier a couple days ago about, fat people and, us not being able to find a good plate carrier thing that we can actually have as our vest is what it is there for doing random mags and whatnot in there. So that is exactly what this is for. Because for one thing, in the very, very back part of it there, you can apparently actually put a gun in there. But as you can see, we got one mag sitting there. And you can actually have a second one put into that spot right there and have it all buttoned up then. So that's two right there. And then in the main big pouch here, where they have the tablet and everything else like that, we actually have 4 more mags in there for the AR. And then in the front piece, you can do a bunch of other stuff too, by the way, with these other front parts here in this, what you call it here. Because you got one right there that unzips. You could do a couple mags in that. There's a couple of space things here for like random small flashlights and other stuff is what it is there. Or maybe like some kind of pen or something maybe you would need or something. And then there is another pack right here that's a little bit bigger that you can fit at least, if you can see it, I don't know, fit at least 2 pistol mags into, if not more for that matter. So I know you can fit at least 2 right now, and I haven't got a chance to grab another one to see if I can fit a third one in there with it being able to zip up then. I think you probably could though. There's also on the opposite side of the thing right there, there's these little like hook things or whatever the case be, which I tried to slide them into, but I think they're a little bit too big is what it is. So I almost have to refit those if that be the case then to do it right. But yeah, you could do that stuff. And so you'd have at least, I would say at minimum, you could have at least probably 3, maybe 4 pistol mags in here, depending on size. Because if you're doing, like full size, like you're probably going to get like maybe 3 at most. And then potentially like another one into this little front slot maybe. Because there's deep. The thing is, it's deep enough too. Because I was doing my pocket Constitution earlier with it. Like it is technically deep enough to where you could actually put the entire pocket Constitution in there and slip it down in. So, and that is pretty long. So that's at least as long as certain pistol mags are. So you could do that with it. You could do something else with it. But yeah, needless to say, this is going to be my potential go-to bag is what it is there. And like people have said in the past, like obviously with the little back piece thing here, you can actually unhook this and put a gun in it, obviously, if you wanted to do that. I'm not a fan of that though, and I'll tell you why. If I'm going to carry mostly pocket carry or something similar to that. I don't want to have it be an off-body carry like that. So unless, and like I said before, unless you're going to do something where you're open carrying a gun, you're open carrying a rifle, and then potentially you have like this kind of slung to the front there, and you have like a second gun in there you can just, grab out or something like that for like surprise attacks or whatever then, which is kind of stupid, honestly, because you're already like, whatever. I'd much rather have that for a couple extra mags than it is there. So, yeah, that's just my personal opinion on the whole thing. And then, of course, we got a little side latch there, which technically, with the way our little molly pack thing is here that we got before, I think you can actually hook this onto this, if I'm not mistaken, which I'm going to try to do that right now, actually. Let's see if I can potentially have like another piece of something there. Oh, yeah, you can. Nice. So you can actually put the molly pouch on there, too. On the side, there's another one over here, too, that you can do something with, too, as well. So put a couple molly pouches on there, maybe. Have one be like your medical kit or something like that, and then have a second one be, something else. Obviously, like I said before, unfortunately, with these little molly pouches I got, this pack of them, they're not big enough for mags, unless you're doing like pistol mags or something in those. But they would be perfect for like a small medical kit or something like that. So, yeah, knowing that they could actually fit onto the main tactical bag too is nice. So, but yeah, so that's pretty much it for the actual tactical backpack. And then of course this does have the ability to pop apart and stuff like that. You could pop this off here and yeah. Sorry, trying to get this to actually come on down here. Damn it, what's not going to unlatch itself? Yeah, you could obviously take it from there and you can put it up here or something, even if you need to, onto a different latch or something. So it has multiple spots right there you can do it on and make it fit to you, basically, is what it is. So, which, like I said, you can also put a molly bag on one of these. So, anyway. And then, of course, there's other small pouch things here, too, for this. Like, you got these little hook ladder things kind of deals, what it is there for those. So, if you want to have something up like that, then maybe you have something there, like, I don't know. Like, again, like a flashlight or something there for that reasoning. Like, who knows? But, and then again, you can always redo this big one and, pop it down like that and then pop it around you and then hook it back into place and stuff like that. So, yeah, these bags are good. There's a lot of them on the market like this, honestly. I think this is one of the cheaper ones I found, actually. But I would definitely do other stuff, too, for that matter. And then, now that I'm thinking about it, since we have our little American flag patches here, and I just realized that there is a patch section there for Velcro. Go ahead and stick one of these in here. And do an America, fuck yeah! Although that being said, I'm probably going to change that out for something else, though. Maybe do my party like it's 1776 patch in there or something like that. If that be the case, then maybe my Every Second Matters patch or something that I have from a while ago, which is one of the only good things that happened between my friendship with Guns and Barbecue before it fell out, obviously. Was him being cool and buying me a patch or two is what it was there. But yeah, then everything happened and it's whatever. We've talked about that story in the past. I don't want to bring it up again. Because it's not what we're talking about, honestly. I'm still trying to get over my life on that one with that asshole and others that have slandered me in the past. So, it is what it is. I'm a different man now. I've bettered myself in life. And everything I said that day has proven to be true at this point. So whatever. If they want to sit there and deny reality, they can keep denying reality. But that's on John and Woods and G23 and everybody else like that wanted to be a bunch of assholes that day. So, good luck to y'all. That's what I gotta say on that one, dude. But I do want to talk about a couple things too related to today, though. Particularly speaking about my own state, and then I got a couple different stories here for relating to the fact that you have a bunch of douchebags in the state of Ohio who are trying to fuck over our 2A rights here with trying to screw over HB 51. And then we're also going to talk about another piece of legislation out of Kentucky, which is the new version of red flag laws, which are now called, I forget what the actual overall thing for it is, but basically the anagram is CARR, CARR. And it's like crisis aversion or something like that, I think is what it is. It's like crisis aversion something something. But yeah, it spells CARR is what it is. And it's nothing more than an ERPO. It's just red flag with a different name is what it is now. Which is what they've tried to do in the past too, by the way. There's other ones that they've tried to push in the past that are just red flag laws too as well. That weren't called ERPOs. They were called something else entirely. Or like in Maine, they have the yellow flag law. That's something more than just a red flag law, but light is what it is. It's basically like Bud. It's basically like drinking a Bud, but you're drinking Bud Light, Like, it's still a fucking red flag law. You're just calling it a yellow flag law is what it is, dude. So it's like, it's still the same goddamn shit is what it is, dude. Just like this car thing is. But, yeah, we'll talk about that one first because there was that. I actually do want to call out a member of the Kentucky General Assembly, specifically Savannah. I'm trying to think what her name is now offhand. I'm trying to see if I can find it. Here's what it is because they did talk to her in one of their, Savannah Maddox. And we kind of called her out yesterday on X too as well, which was she, during one of the interviews or whatever they were doing for this legislation there in Kentucky, was talking about how red flag laws break at least 3 constitutional amendments. No, Savannah, they break way more than that. Try triple that, actually, lady. When you actually look at the Constitution as it stands right now, the U.S. Constitution, I have my hand right here, red flag laws directly violate the 1st, 2nd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 8th, 9th, 10th, and 14th Amendments of the Constitution at minimum. And it may even be more than that now that I'm thinking about it offhand. But at minimum, it violates those 9 legitimately. And you're talking about almost the entirety of the Bill of Rights except for 2 fucking amendments, dude. So literally 4/5 of the Bill of Rights it violates, and then the 14th Amendment on top of that then, for due process. And that's the entire problem right now, dude. And I love how these fucking scumbag-ass leftists will always sit there and be like, oh, it's a temporary taking away of your fucking property. No, it's not. Temporary my ass, dude. Temporary would be like, okay, it gets seized today and sent back to me tomorrow kind of thing. Not, hey, you're going to literally steal my fucking shit, fuck with my life, and then 2 or 3 years later, I'm still not having my property being my possession is what it is then. Which is exactly what we've seen down there in Florida after the whole Parkland thing. And you had all these people that you had like some 14-year-old kid, you know, talk about like basically on some fucking, you know, Call of Duty game, whatever it was down there. There was one of several of those stories actually. It was like 14, 15-year-old kid being like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go kill y'all at school or whatever, like just like offhanded remark kind of shit is what it is there. Like obviously fucking around because they were beating him at the fucking game is what it is there. And then you got 2 fucking cops at this kid's door bitching and moaning and trying to fucking charge him and his mom for that shit for like terroristic threats and stuff. And restricting his ability to own guns ever is what it is there. And the worst part about red flag laws, universal background checks are all terrible, obviously, because they're Hitler and gun rosters. But yeah, red flag laws, ERPOs, CAR, whatever the fuck you want to call it at that point. The biggest issue with these pieces of legislation is they are not considered criminal things. It is considered a civil justice issue, not criminal justice issue. So instead of actually being able to go out there and get a public defender, a court-appointed attorney, whatever it is there, you either have to, A, defend yourself, which is what happens many, many times there in Florida and other states that have had red flag laws in the past year, to where you got these innocent people who are poor as fuck defending themselves now in the court of law to get their shit back, and obviously not being able to get it back because they're not lawyers is what it is, or B, having to literally scrimp and save and, you know, pretty much sell everything to then have your rights restored is what it is there. And prove that you're not a threat to society is what it is there. And that's the problem right now. It's the whole guilty until proven innocent thing. It's direct violations against many constitutional amendments just based on that alone, dude, because you're specifically when it comes to the 8th Amendment of excessive punishment, I believe is what it is. Let me see here. Hang on. Reading the amendments now offhand. Okay, so it would be, let's see here, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as the punishment for crime thereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist in the United States. Congress shall have no power to enforce the article by appropriate legislation. So yeah, it's literally involuntary servitude and slavery and stuff like that, which is what it is at the end of the day, dude. Is you're committing slavery and stuff. Oh no, sorry, that was the 13th Amendment. I'm sorry, I'm retarded. I went too far. Okay, there it is. Yeah, number 8 was that. Yeah, this is the one that actually violates. Excessive bail shall not be required, nor excessive fines imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishment inflicted. That's exactly why it breaks the 8th Amendment too, by the way, because it's cruel and unusual punishment is what it is there. So, yeah, 13th Amendment was slavery. But yeah, the whole point is though, it's like you have so many of these things being undue burdens on people, being cruel and unusual punishment on people because you're having it be an ability to have lawfare is what it is. You have these scumbag ass people, these scumbag ass leftist pieces of shit who in many cases are the ones actively committing terrorism in this country on a daily basis, but yet we are allowing this shit to go on continuously. And the main reason that it's being allowed to be going on, and the Supreme Court hasn't taken up a case like this right now, is because when you look at red flag law specifically, ERPOs, we're going to call them at that point, they only hit poor people. They only go against people who don't have the money to fight this shit in court battles to a higher court, to a higher court, to a higher court, et cetera, et cetera. Because even with the, going back even to both the Bruin and Heller decisions in this country, you know, a couple years ago, the Bruin decision, and then, you know, over a decade ago, almost, I think it was actually 15 years ago now, I'm thinking about it, because 2008 or so, give or take, for the Heller decision about common use stuff. Those were both rich people at that point. With Heller, it was a single guy that was just a rich guy is what it was. With the Bruin decision, it was a group of people that were a whole pistol rifle association. So it was a whole bunch of group of people is what it was there that were able to pull their money together as one then and fight that shit. The Supreme Court is what it was there. And that's the problem right now with the RPOs entirely is it's onesie twosies kind of thing is what it is there, where it's like one guy hit here, two guys hit over there kind of thing. And they never have the ability to come together as a collective and actually pull resources and be able to fight that shit in the courts all the way to the Supreme Court is what it is there. So anyway, but yeah, we're going to discuss this whole car red flag variant here in Louisiana, which I want to, oh, by the way, before we get into it right now, I do want to point this out too, for that matter. So, sorry, not Louisiana. It was Kentucky that we're talking about here. But yeah, I want to point the whole thing out here to Kentucky. So the whole point of this legislation to begin with there in Kentucky is it has to do with that piece of shit who shot up that bank like almost a year ago is what it was now. Who, by the way, clearly the fucking retarded rhinos and Democrats that are behind this shit-ass legislation, dude, did not read that guy's fucking manifesto that was released there, because had they done so, he laid it out for them. He's like, dude, I'm doing this to push for more gun control. Like, that was his fucking end game. Was to, quote-unquote, prove how easy it is to buy a gun in America and to literally go on a fucking massacre killing spree so that he could prove the end game to pass more gun control, which is exactly what these fucking retards are trying to do right now, this whole thing, dude. And exactly why I've said many times in the past, if you are I don't care what General Assembly you're in this country, or whether it be in state level or federal level, if you are actively pushing things that directly infringe on the Second Amendment, first off, that should be an automatic disqualification for you being in power ever again. Your ass should be thrown out of office immediately on the spot, and you should be charged criminally on top of that. And it's as simple as that, honestly. And if we actually did things correctly like that, this shit would end real fucking quickly, is what it is. But yeah, so this proposal to remove guns in mental health crisis meets opposition in Kentucky hearing. It says, Frankfort, Kentucky, survivors of the old Northern Bank shooting sat silently in support of mental health awareness during a hour-long discussion about guns and mental health. A green scarf tied around each of their necks. Dude, what a bunch of, like, I swear to God, dude, like, that kind of shit is just disgusting in of itself, dude. It's just some moms main action shit, too, by the way. That's exactly what it is at the end of the day. Those cunts were there, too, by the way. Those don't know. Yeah, so months after multiple mass shootings in Louisville and following testimony on the Second Amendment supporting gun owner survive. Let me see. Testimony from a Second Amendment supporting gun owning survivor of a mass shooting. A bill to temporarily transfer firearms for people with mental health crisis met opposition during a hearing Friday before the Joint Interim Committee on Judiciary, said State Senator Whitney Westerfield, a rhino, will introduce the Crisis Aversion and Rights Retention Bill into the legislative season that starts January 2nd. So this is like a couple weeks from now, so what's going to happen. Secondary State Senator David Yates, a Democrat from Louisville, told the Courier Journal last month that he will sign on to the bill as a co-sponsor. Yates was not in attendance on Friday for this whole thing. So thankfully this is not a whole thing yet, but it will be in a couple weeks, so it is there. So yeah, crisis aversion and rights retention, aka CAR, aka ERPO, aka red flag law by any other name is what it is there. It said, I don't claim to have a perfect solution, Westerfield told the committee Friday. Here's a perfect solution, lady. Resign from office, you fucking cunt! Because you're an oath-breaking fucking whore! And the same thing with that piece of shit Yates. Resign from fucking office in disgrace, you sons of bitches! That's how you fucking deal with shit. You get the fuck out and let somebody actually take over that seat who's going to do things correctly, which is what you need to do there in Kentucky, which is literally reinforce, stand your ground, reinforce constitutional carry, et cetera, which I know some of you people already have on the books there, but it's only to a certain extent here and there. It needs to be having other things put forth into it and making it better legislation overall. And that's the whole entire point entirely there. But yeah, this Whitney woman said she didn't have the perfect solution. Because there's a perfect solution, lady. Perfect solution, honestly, is stop fucking taking away people's rights, you stupid bitch. That's the entire fucking point right there. It's stop fucking with American citizens' rights. How about that? That's a perfect solution right there. Stop fucking with the Second Amendment. Stop trying to infringe people's rights. Here's what it is, lady. Anyway, yeah, she's done perfect solution, but I hope to get your feedback and input and figure out where I can make it better, make this better, and if we're never going to get somewhere you're comfortable with, that's fine too. But I feel compelled to try. This is a tough one, and we were reminded of just that this past April 10th, they gunmen up a fire in downtown Louisiana at Old Town Bank, where 5 people were killed. That piece of shit killed Thomas Everett James Tutt Jr., Julia Farmer, Joshua Burrick, and... Oh, no, sorry. I combined 2 people together there. The people he killed was Thomas Elliott, James Tutt Jr., Julia Farmer, Joshua Barrick, and Diana Eckert. 6 others were injured and survived, which I'm assuming is the people there with the green scarves on is what it is there. Which just, okay, this is my problem with anti-gunners too, by the way. Look at the fucking smug-ass smile on this cunt's face, dude. She's like, yeah, take away those gun rights, baby. Do it for mommy. Like, fuck you, bitch. Seriously. So, anyway. So, sitting in the crowd were 2 survivors, Julie Anderson and Dana Mitchell, as well as families of 3 other victims. It's in Westerfield. Presented 2 versions of the bill to a committee, and where guns would be held is still undetermined. Okay, that's not a problem too right there, right? So they're talking about temporarily taking away people's gun rights, taking away their guns from them is what it is, mental health crisis and stuff like that. Yet you don't even have a fucking place to store them yet, you dumb bitches. Like, this is the problem with government in a nutshell, honestly, dude. They'll sit there and put forward some bullshit feel-good legislation, yet have no actual way to enforce it, to, carry it out, et cetera, et cetera. So what you're doing is you're just trying to take away people's guns, what it is, dude. You're literally trying to go full tyrant on people is what you're trying to do there, man. And claim it's all about helping people and, oh, we're doing it for the children. No, you're not. You're doing it for yourselves, and you're using these little kids as your fucking props to pull this shit, dude. It's like that son of a bitch Obama, what was it, over 10 years ago now? After the whole Sandy Hook thing, literally stood on the graves of dead children to push for fucking anti-Second Amendment shit for every gun control in the fucking book. And you know what happened in that situation? You had gun sales of AR-15s, everything else like that, shoot the fuck up like crazy for like a decade because of that asshole. Anyway. Let's see. It said the issue was the first of 4 heard during a hearing that saw a crowd so large the main committee room was at capacity 10 minutes after the State House opened at 8:30 a.m. That crowd also filled 2 overflow rooms, said more than 200 people were in attendance, where members of the Whitney/Strong, an organization dedicated to reducing gun violence by advocating for responsible gun ownership. Whitney Strong was created after Louisville native Whitney Austin was shot 12 times during a mass shooting at the bank headquarters in Cincinnati in 2018. If I'm not mistaken, I think these people actually had something here in Ohio too. And you know what happened with that fucking anti-gun organization? It went bankrupt and belly up, baby. And that happened like a year or so ago. I almost debated about like stealing their fucking name too, for that matter, for a minute. And just like redoing it as like a pro 2A organization then, just to fuck with these people who it was. But I decided against that because obviously it was already a tainted name is what it is there. So, because it wasn't Whitney Strong, it was something else entirely. It was like some other moniker thing or whatever. But yeah, it's just funny. But yeah, these people are just scumbags, dude. They'll sit there and they will try to pull on the heartstrings is what it is, dude. Guess what, motherfuckers? You have desensitized us all so much so, we're not putting up with it anymore. Fuck off. You know, it's like that. It's like when we were talking about a Honest Chat the other day. You had the guy who was saying about he did a TikTok, what it was like a year ago after Uvalde is what it was there, and he was talking about like all these people that are like, oh, how many more kids have to die? And he's like, do you want the answer to be all of them? Because that's what he's basically saying. Like, the answer is all of them, bitch. He's not wrong, honestly, dude. It's like, and the thing is, it's not like I don't want a bunch of kids to die, honestly, dude, but like, that's the whole point. We don't have to have that happen. You could easily have armed security everywhere. And if you're not going to have armed security everywhere, then have fucking constitutional carry nationwide where you can go anywhere with your fucking firearm is what it is. And if that means an armed citizen stops some fucking psycho nut from going on a killing spree, that's what it fucking means then. That's what we should be having right now, dude. You know how you stop fucking literal violence by an evil, evil entity? You have a good person there. You have a good, God-fearing person there that's going to be the one that puts that fucker down is what it is. And most of the time, it's not a cop. It's an armed citizen. And it's as simple as that, really. You know, Eli Dickens showed that over a year ago in the fucking mall there in Indiana. Like a week or so after they had constitutional carry become law of the land there. So, anyway. Said Whitney Austin testified about her story. Mental health issues of the gunman who shot her. Said, quote, "We know the misuse of firearms is not tied to law-abiding, mentally well gun owners. CAR was not created for them. CAR was created for to surgically identify the small subset of gun owners, including those in lawful possession of a firearm, who are on the brink of using their guns to harm themselves or others." So, here's the problem with that, bitch. You are talking about every gun owner in this country, actually, because I'm not going to lie. There are times when people do, myself included, have depressive issues. Hell, look at my shit last year. I've talked about that previously. I came very close to killing myself with my firearm over everything happened with Guns Barbecue and those guys. Because I thought I was going to have an Antifa direct action in my fucking home is what it is. And if I wasn't around, that wouldn't happen then. And that's the kind of shit that you go through in your own head when you were isolated, when you were down on your fucking, you know, luck, etc. But guess what? I thought better of it, and I didn't go through with it, obviously. But in this bitch's stupid fucking case, they would be temporarily taking away my guns under that whole law then, dude. Like, that's the whole entire problem right now, dude. In most cases, it's a cry for help. The problem is that people are not there to help you is what it is, dude. And by the way, I'd like to point something out for that matter. If these people really gave a shit, they wouldn't be creating stupid shit like crisis aversion, rights retention shit. They would simply be expanding already existing programs like the Hold My Guns deal that others have already come up with in this country. That many people don't know about. That if people are on the brink and maybe having a fucking bad day or a bad week or a bad month, whatever it is, you can call them up and be like, "Hey, dude, I'm going to need you to hold my guns for me." And they can make arrangements with an FFL that will hold your firearms for you for a couple of days, a couple of weeks, whatever it is there. And you can get them back when you need to get them back then. When you're not suffering from some kind of mental distress. And it's not a fucking ERPO by another name. It's not people fucking with your rights is what it is. And that's the entire problem right now, dude. It's people don't give a shit. They don't give a fucking shit about actually looking into things that already exist right now. They would rather push for more control is what it is. That's the end of the game. That's the end game for these people, dude. It's these mini tyrants. It's these wannabe Hitlers. It's wannabe Stalins, wannabe Maos, wannabe Pol Pots, etc. out there. Your wannabe Che Guevaras, Nicholas Marauders, etc. who have always been about control. It's like just like we talked about 3 years ago, dude, during the lockdowns. Who was it trying to enforce mask mandates? It was, in a lot of cases, it wasn't government. It was a bunch of liberal-ass white women. Which, shocker, looking at the fucking crowd in that fucking screenshots there, dude. Who was it in the fucking crowd there? Oh, yeah, bunch of liberal-ass white women. Usually old bitches. Who are way past prime peak to have kids. So yeah, it's just disgusting. It is what it is. Anyway. Let's see here now. Continuing on, that Whitney woman said that car was designed to get guns gun owners back to a place where gun ownership is safe by hitting the pause button long enough to get them the help they need. Okay, so here's the problem with that, right, though? Because, again, going back to what we're talking about here, though. So the way that they're trying to explain this is, it would be them temporarily taking your guns until essentially you go to a mental health facility and give them help there, though. Here's an issue with that, though. Directly on 4473s that disqualify you and make a person in this country is, have you ever been put in a mental health institution, etc. there? That's exactly what their fucking endgame is, dude. It's not about taking people's guns temporarily. It's about so-called temporarily taking them away so they can permanently take them away from you is what it is. Because that's what it is at the end of the day. They all want control. They want to control your lives because they fucking suck and don't actually trust themselves with firearms in many cases, what it is, dude. And that's the entire problem right now. Anyway. Let's see here now. It said, Jeffersontown Police Chief Rick Sanders, a member of law enforcement for 4 decades, also testified since the bill would create a law enforcement official to file a petition with a district court for a temporary car order. Said this bill is not a gun problem. This is a mental health issue, and we have to address it. Just like in 2019, when a different version of the bill was heard by a committee, back when it was called Red Flag Laws, I'm guessing, honestly, said the idea was strongly opposed by some members of the Republican legislature. Representative Savannah Maddox from Dry Ridge called the bill a, quote, violation of constitutional rights. She's right about that one. She said, we must fervently resist any effort to push gun control legislation and put a stop to ineffective policies that put innocent civilians in harm's way. Applause could be heard in the main committee room from one of the overflow rooms. The representative, Jason Neems from Louisville, also said multiple times that the bill is taking away constitutional rights, because it is. So this bill takes away constitutional rights from a citizen based on the prediction that they might commit a crime in the future. And that's exactly what the problem is, dude. It's literal fucking thought crime shit is what it is, honestly. You know, it's exactly what the fucking feds 4 years ago tried to come at me for, man. Because I said something as a what-if scenario, and oh my god, he could do something at some point. You know who else could do something? All the fucking Muslim terrorists, the fucking Islamic followers down in Columbus that were tied to a goddamn mosque that had over 100 successful and failed terrorist attacks to it at that point in time in history, and even more to it now, 4 years later. Like, Jesus Christ, dude. By their own fuck up retard logic, like, that's way more of a fucking threat than I was, ever. But yet, because I'm fucking a white male and happen to be right-leaning, they were like, oh no, gotta fuck with this guy's rights. So, anyway. But yeah. So that just Jason guy was saying it could fuck people's rights in the future for basically thought crimes. Said Representative Pamela Stevenson, a Democrat from Louisville who lost a bid for Attorney General in 2023, said, with every right, there is a responsibility. Shut the fuck up, cunt. Like, shut the fuck up, Pamela. Seriously. Literally, reading the Second Amendment, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. How hard is that to understand, you dumb cunt? It's not that hard at all. But that's the problem when you're a bunch of illiterate fucks in the Democrat Party who are all about control and grabbing power and everything else like that and being little mini tyrants and full-blown tyrants. It's not that hard to figure out, man. You're just a bunch of scumbags entirely. Thank God that bitch lost the AG's office there. Because, my God, bro, could you imagine her being AG of Kentucky right now? Like, holy fuck, man. But yeah, she claimed with every right, there's responsibility. We've got to be brave enough to not let people just die willy-nilly. You know how you do that, lady? You literally have constitutional carry everywhere. You allow people to carry into every business everywhere, including government buildings. That's how you fucking stop massacres. Legitimately. You stop having gun-free zones. You could be the first of something at a state level there, woman. You could actually be the people that start repealing The Gun-Free School Zones Act of 1990, a piece of shit federal legislation that asshole Joe Biden himself was the one responsible for back in 1990 as the main primary sponsor of that bullshit that has created every single massacre for the past 23 years in this country. Or sorry, not 23 years, for the last 33 years in this country. Even worse. So, yeah. But anyway, she said, yeah, don't let people die willy-nilly. There is not. There are a lot of dead citizens that were law-abiding citizens because they were not taking action. We are the ones that were appointed, and we can no longer hide under the gaze of it, bridging my constitutional rights, because everything we do in this life contends for the greater good, Jesus fucking Christ, and make sure that everyone has the right to life, liberty, and property. Well, you're obviously not doing that when you're trying to restrict rights, bitch. Fucking ridiculous, dude. So the crowd in the committee room began to applaud before a reminder came from the assistant chair that no show of support was allowed. So when the committee hearing ended and more than a dozen journalists hurtled around to ask questions, two Kentucky's newest mass shooting survivors huddled behind a now veteran one with more than 2,500 mass shootings in between. No, there hasn't been, you fucking... God damn it, people. Who fucking wrote this article, dude? Stephanie Kerdadam? I think that's how you pronounce the woman's name. Let me go look at this stupid bitch up, honestly, dude. Yeah, this dumb bitch right here is what it is, dude. This fucking lion hoe. There hasn't been 2,500 mass shootings in the last year, you dumb bitch. What there's been is a whole bunch of gun violence archive, fucking gangbanger shit going on in this country that you fuckers want to sit there and call mass shootings, even though in many cases, nobody even fucking dies in these things. It's people being shot at or shot or whatever the case be. And just to be clear, a mass shooting as defined by the FBI itself is 4 or more dead. Not 4 or more wounded, not 3 or more wounded, not fucking a shooter walks into a fucking Beaver Creek, Ohio Walmart, shoots fucking 4 people in the arms and then blows his fucking brains out in the back. Which is what they want to sit there and call a mass shooting more recently is what it is, dude. Which it wasn't, by the way. It was happened to be an act of violence by some fucking nut is what it was. So, yeah, these people are such a bunch of liars on the fucking leftist ass mainstream media, dude. I'm so fucking sick and tired of it. But to go on to what we're talking about with the, more locally here in Ohio, which is the scumbag ass motherfucker in Dayton cops, and then Allison Russo's ass, that are all against HB 51, aka the Second Amendment Preservation Act, aka Second Amendment Sanctuary here in Ohio, which I've been fighting for the past 4 years of my life, honestly. So, first off, we got Dayton PD issue statement regarding HB 51. I want to point something out, by the way. It was the Dayton, Ohio cops who literally killed innocent bystanders the night of the Dayton massacre back in 2019, where when you had autopsy results being done, the only bullets in these people's bodies was 9mm, which the shooter in that case was using .223-5.56. And not to mention the fact that some of the cops also have patrolman's rifles in that same caliber. So who's to say if it was actually the gunman's bullets that killed them, or it was a police officer shooting their rifle, missing, and bang, hit somebody right in the fucking like jugular vein or something like that, and making it fatal. So, but yeah, there was definitely 9mm in that were actual kill wounds inside of several people there. It was like at least 3 or 4 anyway that were killed that night. So anyway, it was only cops doing bullshit crossfires, what it is that shouldn't have been. Anyways, the Dayton police released a statement on House Bill 51 Friday, said HB 51 is currently being considered in the Ohio State House. 51, also known as the Second Amendment Preservation Act, aims to strengthen the Second Amendment in Ohio by literally stopping federal agents from doing gun grabs here at a state level with bullshit unconstitutional federal crap that Biden and company are passing illegally. So the Ohio Second Amendment bill moving through State House, if passed, would mean Ohioans are only subjected to state gun laws, not federal ones. It says bill offers an exemption that local and federal agencies can coordinate with federal gun crimes are secondary to the original offense. It says law enforcement could face a $50,000 per violation fine if they were to violate the law, meaning that they were literally like being like, oh, we're going to cross deputize you to go see what shit is what it is like some task force, whatever it is there. or using like some sheriff be like, hey sheriff, you need to go collect this guy's guns for us because they're violating some bullshit fucking federal statute or whatever the case be. It's not state law. So Second Amendment is very important in Ohio, and I think it's important that we look at the issues. Speaker of the House Jason Stevenson in October said Dayton PD's full statement here says Dayton Police Department understands the importance of safeguarding Second Amendment rights while upholding public safety. However, we firmly believe that House Bill 51 in its current form could undermine the very principles it seeks to protect. We urge our legislators to reconsider the provisions of the bill and work towards a solution that provides the delicate balance between protecting constitutional rights and ensuring the safety of our community. Fuck you, you fucking faggot cops. Resign in fucking mass, you douchebags. We don't need your asses at all in this fucking state anymore. Fuck off. That's my statement to you bitch asses right now, dude. Fuck you. You fucking mass murdering sacks of shit. Anyway, continuing on, this says Dayton Police Department takes pride in commitment to public safety and the collaboration efforts undertaken by federal law enforcement agencies, including FBI, ATF, DEA, etc. Fuck off. First off, and this is the problem right here, right? Is these people clearly haven't read shit either, for that matter, dude. Because had they actually read the fucking bill, just like state reps hadn't fucking read the goddamn bill, would know that no, it's not gonna fucking violate some drug task force thing, dude. You can still go after some fucking criminal and some drug task force, even with this being a law of the land at that point then. And that's the whole problem in Tyler right now. So, anyway. As it stands, we're not actually going to see this go through this year, unfortunately. It'll be sometime in 2024 if it goes through at all, for that matter. Which goes to the second thing I want to talk about here, which is literally Ohio House Speaker says there's not support for gun control legislation. Says no gun legislation has been signed into law in the year 2023 in Ohio yet. But lawmakers in the House are considering one, House Bill 51, or the Second Amendment Preservation Act. The bill prohibits any state public officer from enforcing federal gun laws that conflict with the state laws and would fine any subdivision that employs an officer who knowingly enforces federal gun restrictions. Local law enforcement cannot be complied to enforce gun rules from the federal government, said House Speaker Jason Stephens. House Minority Leader and known bribed cunt from Moms Demand Action, Allison Russo, called the proposal dangerous legislation. No, the dangerous legislation going through the General Assembly right now, Allison, would be the fucking bullshit that Jessica Miranda put through, which was the safe storage laws. The bullshit that known Moms Demand Action member Michelle Grimm is now pushing for, which is ERPO's red flag laws. Or the other crap that those bitches are pushing for, which is universal background checks. Or other garbage y'all are pushing through, like Cecil Thomas and your ass, which is the 10-day waiting period stuff. That's dangerous legislation, bitch. That's what's going to get Ohioans killed, is your fucking garbage-ass anti-gunner shit, Allison, you fucking piece of crap. I seriously want to fight these people, dude, at this point. I mean that shit seriously. Like, let's have a fucking charity boxing match, dude. I'll take all your asses on, like, one after another is what it is right now. And be done with it, dude. And as soon as my charity wins, like, 10 times in a row, y'all owe me, like, $100,000 for the fucking network is what it is, dude, because that'll be the charity of choice for me. Anyway, it says Democrats and Republicans want to change Ohio's gun laws in opposite ways. So we've heard from nearly every law enforcement organization in the state that this makes our communities more dangerous and it makes it more difficult to solve crimes, particularly gun crimes, said dipshit liar Russo. So Jason Stephens said the bill is important, but it has yet to win the approval of some Republican rhinos, is what he's actually talking about there, which would be Cindy Abrams and company there, who are considered the language of the bill complies with existing law. Said the House is taking some time to, quote, continue these decisions. Very important issue when it comes to the 10th Amendment and what can states enforce and what they are required to enforce. Yeah, literally states' rights is what he's talking about there. Said so it's a very big question that the bill is trying to answer or start a conversation on. And said Stephens said while he wants to wait a couple weeks to hash out the details that concern people, he does expect to bring the bill to a House floor vote next year. He said it is very possible the vote comes in January. So there could be tweaks to it from where it stands today. It's very lawyery type bill from the standpoint of how things are worded and what can be done in cooperation with the federal law enforcement. Said Russo said she thinks the bill being stalled is a good thing. Of course, she fucking does because she's an anti-gun fucking piece of shit dyke, honestly. And said she suggested working on legislation, her so-called common sense gun reform, like creating universal background checks and red flag laws. Which, by the way, Allison, is a direct infringement on the fucking oath you swore to uphold to the Constitution of the state, you dumb bitch. Which is exactly why you should have been arrested 4 fucking years ago when you and the other asshole Democrats, like that son of a bitch Casey Weinstein, who hate hoaxed himself a month after I was federally swatted and never fucking investigated for it, should have been tossed out of the General Assembly at this point, dude, and in jail right now. Every single one of you assholes should be looking at fucking federal charges right now, dude, legitimately. For literally deprivation of the code of law, etc. at this point in history. And the fact that you haven't been yet, you haven't been kicked out of the General Assemblies, everything in this country, honestly. And again, it's because there's too many fucking douchebag rhinos still in office that allow your fucking asses to stay there is what it is. Anyway, said Jason Stevens said those proposals just don't have the support through the whole House, nor should they, because they're unconstitutional as fuck, dude. Universal background checks are nothing more than Hitler gun rosters. Red flag laws are nothing more than, again, just for the stuff I'm saying right now would get me red flag, dude, by these fucking stupid bitches like Allison Russo is what it is, dude. For calling their fucking asses out. So, anyway. It said, people don't want the government in their business. It's pretty easy. Russo called universal background checks more popular than apple pie. No, they're not, you fucking lying bitch. And said Republicans' hesitancy to consider gun safety legislation, aka gun control legislation, points to how out of touch the majority party is. Fucking stupid bitch, dude. This is what her dumbass had to say about it. So when you take a legislator, a supermajority Republican legislator, who says they absolutely will not take up the issue, when the large of a population, Republicans, Democrats, Independents, gun owners, non-gun owners support this, it speaks to why gerrymandering is so dangerous in the state. Says the bitch who is only in fucking office because you've had Democrats put like 10 goddamn seats down in fucking Franklin County, which your ass is holding one of them, Allison. If we literally had one county, one rep, you and 8 other fucking assholes wouldn't even be in office right now from the Democrat Party. You'd be tossed the fuck on your asses, what it would be. You dickheads would hold way less seats than you hold right now. You hold over 30 seats right now in the General Assembly because of that shit. Because you've gerrymandered Franklin County, Cuyahoga County where fucking Cleveland is, Hamilton County where Cincinnati is, where Dayton is, where Toledo is, etc. And you've added so many more seats to the General Assembly that don't need to be there is what it is, dude. There is over 15 seats that can go away right now just based on that shit alone. I think it's actually more like 20-something, actually. And yeah, if we actually did one county, one rep stuff, dude, Democrats, slight minority right now of 30-something seats right now, would go down to about 8 to 10, honestly. That's why they don't want that shit in place ever. Because they would lose even more power than they have right now. And by the way, you wouldn't have a ton of Republicans in power either, for that matter. You'd have maybe like 30 or so, give or take. And the other 40 plus seats then of the 88 counties, 88 reps there is what it would be, would legitimately be all actual independents, constitutionalists, Constitution Party people, etc. there is what it would be. Because we bring back third parties in the whole situation too, for that matter, dude. So yeah, it's a bunch of lies, dude. And I love how she sits there and like literally talks into both sides of her mouth and her ass at the same time, and falsely claims like all these people support this shit, yet there's actually no proof of that at all. Literally, what she's pointing to, by the way, when she points to these so-called 80%, 90% approval ratings, dude, are literally a poll taken on a college campus of 486 people. Literally. Less than 500 people. I've looked at the fucking... I've done entire episodes based on that shit in the past on this channel. You can look back in the last 2 or 3 months right now to stuff where I was talking about it in that day, obviously, whether it be a grandstand or whatever it was that day. And yeah, you literally have these stupid ass polls they did where it says right in the thing, 486 voters were fucking polled for this piece of legislation, for this poll. And it's like, oh yeah, 80% of that 486 supported or whatever the... Oh no, sorry, it wasn't 486, it was 468 is what it was. Yeah, it was like, of these 468 people that were polled for this one, 85% support this shit. Oh, look, 85% of Ohioans support universal background checks and red flag laws. No, they fucking don't. It's like 400-something jackasses at a fucking leftist-ass college, most of which are fucking Antifa followers and BLM terrorists that were the same assholes that were breaking in the fucking State House windows 3 years ago, you stupid bitch, that were never tried and convicted for that shit. So, anyway. So, Jason Stevens said he thinks handling gun and violent crimes comes down to something else. More funding for law enforcement to, quote, keep repeat offenders off the streets. That is partially true, but it's not all the way true, Jason. We also need to have literally campus carry at this point. Says Lieutenant Governor John Husted declined to comment on HB 51, saying he is not familiar with the bill's details, but he reaffirmed his commitment to the right to keep and bear arms. You're such a lying sack of shit, Husted, just like DeWine is, honestly. You guys don't give a fuck about the Second Amendment at all. The only reason the only reason Mike DeWine even signed constitutional carry last year or stand your ground the previous year before that, dude, was to get reelected in 2022, which is what happened there. And it's the exact same bullshit Husted's going to be pushing here in a couple years when he tries to run for governor himself here in 2026, when I'm actually running in that race myself then against him and whoever else is what it is there, which right now I'm assuming it's going to be, truthfully, if we make it to 2026 without this country going to full-blown civil war, World War III, etc. there, dude, and we actually have a functioning country and we actually have an Ohio governor's race in 2026, it's going to be myself in there, obviously. I believe Husted's going to be in there. There's been talk of Vivek Ramaswamy being a Republican primary. There has been talk of AG Dave Yost jumping in there. So it'd be myself and these three jackasses, basically. You'd have possible Democrat challengers like that fuck-knuckle Tim Ryan, who should be in prison right now for literally calling for the mass murder of MAGA supporters over a year ago and never being fucking charged with that, never being tossed to the U.S. Senate race based on that shit alone. When literally it was a day or two later, you had some guy named Shannon kill a fucking 18-year-old kid, and I believe it was Wyoming or Montana, one of those two states, what it was there, when he ran the kid down, claiming, oh, he's a MAGA extremist, so Tim Ryan called him out. Like, no, you're a fucking nutcase just like Tim Ryan is, dude. And him, both that Shannon guy and Tim Ryan should have been fucking charged with crimes at that point. Tim should have been charged with accessory before and after the fact, honestly. So, anyway. Let's see here now. Where the fuck were we at? Okay, yeah, so Husted said he reaffirmed the commitment about the right to keep bear arms. Communities are sometimes feeling unsafe. As we don't protect our southern border, we have criminals and cartels coming into America, affecting the health and safety of our communities. So I think more and more people want to make sure their Second Amendment rights are protected. Exactly. And that's the truth at the end of the day, dude. It's not only that, dude. It's basically it's stopping these fuckers at the border what it is right now, dude. Seriously. So, anyway. And that's exactly why, going full circle, why I got the tactical backpack ready, man. So, my little tactical sling bag there. Because if need be, shit's going to be ready to roll, man. It's going to be ready to go, honestly. And what's nice about that is actually, like, going back to what I was saying at the beginning of this whole episode, this thing actually has enough space in it to hold a full kit, man. Most kits actually hold, it's 6 rifle mags, which is got what this bag can hold into it in different places there. And the back hold 2. And the main pocket holds 4. So it can also hold like 3 or 4 different pistol mags too, for that matter. So yeah, definitely worth it, man. So anyway, but yeah, needless to say, it's a bunch of shit, dude. I'm so fucking sick and tired of having to justify my rights to scumbag criminals in this country, especially in the state, honestly, who want to call themselves Democrats, Republicans, etc. Like the entire point, honestly, when you look at the U.S. Constitution, the Bill of Rights, etc., there is these are pieces of legislation the government has no right to fuck with. And if you're going to go full tyrant and fuck with them, just as our founding fathers did to the redcoats, you need to be killed. Legitimately. You need to be literally taken out and dealt with accordingly. And whether that be in a revolution event, whether that be in a Civil War event, whether that be in some kind of other event similar to that, or whatever the case be, some kind of mass revolt, whatever it is, honestly, doesn't really matter. At minimum, even going to deprivation of recovery of law, dude, there's a reason why you have 4 different charges for deprivation of recovery of law is what it is. It's either 1 year and 1 day in prison, So 360 days in prison, never hold elected office again, 10 years imprisonment, never hold elected office again, life imprisonment, obviously, and then death penalty is the fourth one. And it all depends on the severity of the crime is what it is. The problem with that is that particular charge is a misdemeanor crime nationwide is what it is. Or it needs to be felonies, honestly, right now. And if they actually were felonies, myself and others could just citizens arrest these sons of bitches is what it is, dude. Because we'd have every legal right to do so with the felony crimes they're committing. But hell, going back to what I said about Russo earlier, dude, this bitch should have already been arrested and fucking charged and investigated, etc. when she literally took that fat ass envelope full of cash from MDA members over 2 years ago at the State House. May 2021, House Oversight Committee hearing. They were discussing constitutional carry for it was like a third or fourth hearing that day. This bitch walks in with her fucking cup of coffee, is bitching and moaning with some moms main action people. There's what it is. About a minute or two later, you have one of them get up, grab a fucking fat envelope out of her purse, walk over to Allison Russo, hand it to fucking Russo. Russo's like looking around like, nobody saw me, right? Shoves it in her fucking purse real quick, and then walks back out. Nothing was ever investigated with that fucking envelope, dude. Even though it was clearly a fucking fat stack of cash in it at the time when Allison Russo herself was running for a special election for Congress, a congressional seat that Mike Carey now holds. Like, what the fuck, people? Do your goddamn jobs and at least investigate this shit. Fuck. And if it turns out it was nothing, if it turns out it was just a bunch of fucking coupons in an envelope or something like that, dude, for like, you know, MDA being like, hey, Russo, here's a bunch of coupons to save on your fucking grocery bills or whatever the case be, okay, whatever. Technically, it would still be a bribe because it would be them handing her fucking, you know, coupons off of grocery items and stuff like that. But still, it's like, it wouldn't be as bad as that giant fucking stack of cash in a giant envelope then, dude. So, but yeah, had they at least investigated that shit, it wouldn't piss me off so much as what it is, dude. But because they're not doing a damn thing to investigate the shit, of course it's going to piss myself and others off. Because you're allowing criminal Democrats, or the same thing with Weinstein for that matter. I get a fucking federal swat and get the FBI at my fucking ass for a what-if scenario. Casey Weinstein hate hoaxes himself using the USPS system. Less than a month after that, not even fucking local cops investigating that shit, dude. Let alone federal agents for mishandling a USPS system is what it is. And it's like, what the fuck kind of double standard shit is this, dude? That's what fucking pisses me off so much. That's why I went the whole fucking tirade yesterday about the whole fucked up justice system and how our justice system's totally fucked right now. Because it is. It's a 3 to 4 tier justice system, dude. You're a Republican, you get fucked. You're a Democrat, you get off. You're a Democrat with fucking money and power, you totally get off. And you're some fucking scumbag that has money, fame, etc., you definitely get off is what it is there. That's why you have it's why you have all these people who are on the Epstein flight logs that haven't even been investigated for child molestation in this country. Even though they're clearly a bunch of fucking pedophiles, dude. You had Jesselyn Maxwell go to prison for the fucking client list where she child trafficked kids to apparently nobody? Like, what the fuck, dude? It's just insane. It's fucking insane. It's goddamn Looney Tune land. And people wonder why I get pissed. And why I go on tirades. Like, this is the reason why, man. Because I'm just fucking over it. I'm just sick of it, honestly. And I think most people are too, for that matter. I'm just willing to say this shit, honestly, is what it is. So, anyway. That being said, I gotta go to the bathroom pretty bad, so... And that's very true. Dick Durbin's the one blocking that shit. Meanwhile, the same Dick Durbin, who is now trying to allow illegal aliens who definitely have ties to the cartel or other fucking foreign agencies, whether it be China, military, etc. there, to become U.S. citizens by joining the U.S. military. What the fuck? Like, are you high or are you just fucking retarded, dude? Or both, maybe, for that matter. Like, how is it not high treason immediately, dude? Like, what you're literally proposing is to destroy the sovereignty of this country, which is the definition of high treason. Again, like, charge these fucking people accordingly, for God's sakes, man. Huh. Jesus. Huh. This is weird. It clicks on this article from Fox News that was talking about an Arkansas woman being stabbed a shitload of times, what it was here, and then it said back 2003, so that was like 20 years ago. I wonder if it's because the girl is now possibly getting out, maybe? I don't know. Weird. Jesus. It's funny they said girl daughter here in this article, because it's like, just look at, this is a picture of that girl they're talking about. Like, that girl looks like she got some psycho eyes going on, man. She just looks like a complete nut job. So, anyway. Yeah, that woman just looks like a psycho in general. Yeah, crazy. And that's the thing, too, man. People are just nuts sometimes. So, anyway. That being said, that's pretty much it for the episode. I will be back. I don't know if Honda's going to be doing a chat tomorrow night or not, because if he is, it'll probably be Rumble only, since I know you got a channel strike the other day for medical misinformation and stuff. So, I don't know if we will do it on his chat or not there, or if it'll be something where I'll do one here or whatever the case be. So, it might be here, it might be there, it might be Rumble for the Gay Frog chat, then if that be the case. If it's not Gay Frog, it'll be a Tadpoleish episode, then if that be the case. On this channel, I'll throw some links out to people and stuff like that before it, and whoever comes, and we'll talk about whatever then. Or if it's something where we can do it on Honda's chat or whatever the case be, we'll just do it on his chat as a Gay Frog chat, then if that be the case. So, hopefully. But other than that, next time I'll be back on this channel will be probably sometime Monday, I think. We'll be talking about a couple different things relating to gaming stuff, and I'll probably do another gaming chat if that be the case then. We got some stuff going on right now in the main region that's going to be happening pretty soon. So right now we're sort of doing a wait and see, because we're doing kind of weird wars. There's what it is, before we can take our 34s, what it'll be then. So, and unfortunately, we missed out on the second carnivores thing the other day, which I thought we were going to have time to do that, but apparently everybody waited too long, I guess, and there's only like a certain window you can do the attacks on it or something like that, which I guess we missed that window and got fucked over then, which is bullshit entirely. It pisses me off, because it would have been nice to get some of that extra loot from that if that be the case then. So, anywho, but it is what it is, man. Anyway, that being said, that's pretty much where I'm at for the day. Like I said, be back probably Monday. Be back on Honda's chat tomorrow, obviously, hopefully. And then we'll be doing whatever throughout the coming week. Then we'll obviously do Honda's chat on Tuesday. We will do Buckshot Thursday on its regular Thursday slot, most likely, which would be the 21st. And then we'll do a Freedom Friday next Friday. I'm going to do a special Festivus thing next Saturday for the 23rd. And then I'm going to be taking, obviously, Christmas Day and Christmas Eve off. So, it is what it is. But other than that, hope you guys enjoyed this thing. Hope you guys enjoyed the review of the tactical backpack. And other than that, that's where we're at for the day. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Always be carrying one in the chamber. Always be ready to be your own first responder, because the cops suck ass. And it's as simple as that. Have a good one, y'all. Later.